So how about that for a platelayer's hut? This is the Barranco de las Cuevas, one of the two main barrancos that there is in the barrier of Monachil. Today it's been snowing, so we're going to have a wander up into the hills, see what we can see. Nothing particularly adventurous. I think the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to get rained upon, but I'm well prepared. Anyway, we'll take you on this walk. It might be a bit of fun, we'll see. Well, it's not actually a platelayer's hut, but it's fairly close to it. I think Frank Hornby would have been proud to have modelled his Hornby 001s on that. Yeah, that is absolutely perfect. Absolutely no chance of a railway line being built up here though, I'm afraid. So this is the Barranco de las Cuevas. There are further down the track some caves, cueva being cave in Spanish. And here you can see signs that the hillside has been eroded away. Rock falls over a long period of time, I suppose. Anyway, we'll be coming up to the start of the walk that I did a few days ago. We'll take it from there. So this last part is quite steep and it's quite slippy. I suppose around about mid-morning today it started raining, which turned into sleet really. Maybe just a little bit higher up it was snowing, but it definitely was. So our house is around about 1,000 metres, and at about 1,200 it was definitely snowing and settling as well. So the mountains, as we'll see in a bit, they've got a nice layer of snow, and hopefully there's just going to be a break in the weather. So let's have a look. So one of my favourite trees just coming up on the right. Now, I wonder if anyone can recognise the buds that are just starting to appear here. You can recognise what that is? Let me know in the comments. Nothing there. It's second day of February. Absolutely no sign of spring whatsoever. I suppose when I'm saying that, I mean that I can't see any of the typical almond or cherry trees starting to get into blossom. So the sun's come out, so there's been just a little bit of a chink, and I thought, well, tomorrow it's going to be far worse. So can't see the high mountains. You can see the Juanes Massif there, which was nicely slowed. And we'll see what else we might see in a little bit. So last time we cut up across the moor here. Today I think I'm going to walk through the woods. It's a different way, so if you're following along with this, then you'll see one of the other walks that I often do. There's a bitterness in the air, and yet at the same time I've got the sun coming out and you can actually feel its warmth. It's quite an unusual sensation. So we're at the very top end of El Barrio de la Vega, Monachil, which is an outlying part of the village. I suppose it started to be built up in the early 1970s. This was all as you see it now, but gradually it's all been built on, and it's a nice place to live. There's good views over the high mountains when there aren't any clouds. You can see right down into the Vega, the Vale of Granada, and over the city itself. Depending on where you position yourself, you can see a little bit of the Alhambra Palace. So yeah, not a bad place to be. And because you're outside of the city, there's far less concrete absorbing the high summer temperatures, so it's a little bit more manageable in high summer, or at least it has been up to date. Even then, we've succumbed to getting air conditioning to help us through the worst of it. So we're now going to be entering into the wooded part. So it was tipping it down midday, late morning, midday, but it's obviously draining off reasonably well here because the parts are damp, but they're not a quagmire or anything. So it's actually good walking weather. So this is a good walk to do all year round. You're in the woods, so when the sun is out and beating down on you, you're sort of like jumping into the shade. There's good clean air as well. So I'm saying it's very, very cold, but actually I've got a dirty, great big thick puffer jacket, scarf, and my dad's old hat with what do you call them, side flaps for your ears, so I'm absolutely like toast. Hand is a little bit cold when it's holding the camera. Good place for dog walking here, and you'll often find lots of people out walking dogs. Wildlife wise, plenty of squirrels if you're patient enough to wait and see them, and I'm not sure here, but this is good grazing land for sheep and goats, so I've often come across shepherds walking their flock around these parts. Never through these particular woods, but I'm looking at the ground and I can see evidence that they've been here. And once or twice I've seen cattle grazing, but that's quite some time ago, so I'm not sure if they no longer do that. I've never seen anything else, so it wouldn't surprise me if you'd find foxes and badgers and rabbits. Definitely rabbits, but I think the rabbits you'll probably find down in the barrancos. Here I've never seen any evidence of them making burrows, but there may well be. This is all pine forest here, but it's nice the way you've got the mix of the grass and lichen as well over the rocks and the protruding rocks. A little bit of earth as well, and it's an interesting landscape and pleasant to walk, and it's the kind of walk that I'll go back and do again and again and again. I couldn't tell you how many times I've done this section. Dozens, I would have thought. Dozens and dozens. Looks pretty quiet today though. No sign of any of our four-legged friends, at least for the moment. Anyway, I'll leave it there for the moment. So this is quite a mature wood. You have a look at it. These trees are not youngsters. Look at this one over here. Look at the size, the girth of that trunk. That's a big old tree, that is. I'd like to say how many years we're talking about, but you can imagine it would be upwards of 50. Periodically you will see them thinning them out. I haven't seen any anything being done here recently, but the thinning out actually normally leaves me with plenty of kindling to collect in the dry summer months to light our wood burner in the lounge. The sun's still there, but it looks like it's going to be defeated by the clouds in a moment. There's some younger trees. We get a better sight of the Plains Massif up there, if Massif is the right name. I'd love to be up there walking now. I really would. In fact, in order to do one of the walks there means you have to go up to, well, the main route it starts from El Collado de Sevilla, where we've been several times, once to do the very walk that I'm talking about here. Anyway, this morning I had to pop out, and I drove partially up towards El Collado de Sevilla, and the snow was starting to, I'm going to say drift, but to collect on the roads. You could see the ruts where cars had driven through. I suppose we were down to about 2 or 3 degrees. Snowing heavily, so I made an about turn and came back down the hill. We're probably just a little bit higher than I am now. I suppose when I get to the end of this walk, as we look over the valley, we'll be at a similar kind of altitude as to where I turn back with the car. But so it seems like potluck where it falls. If you get a cloud pregnant with snow, then it might collect on one side of these foothills and leave the other side without. That's how it seems to me anyway. So tomorrow, first thing in the morning, it's forecasting 1-2 degrees, and snow maximum maybe 6, 7, and a wet day one way or the other. Whether that will mean I'll be out tomorrow making a snowman or not, I don't know. I suspect not, but there might be some interesting photos to be had. So as I say, I'm just going to repeat it, but the walk in here is really, really good. If you saw the amount of rain that was, rain, snow, sleet or snow that was falling, you wouldn't think this would be anything more than a quagmire. But it's actually really, really good. Well, I kind of knew it would be because I've been here several times, but you'll never be totally sure. So yeah, there's another youngish pine on the right there, a sort of teenage one just further on. And here we're just coming up to the highermost group of houses on the left, which there's one hotel that's in use. There's another hotel that's there. It's been closed for many, many years, and stories abound of unusual happenings, investigations by paranormal investigators and what have you. It's just amazing that it's not been done up and given new purpose. I'm sure it could be a good use. So we're out of the wooded section now, and in a couple of minutes we'll be onto the edge of the Juenes Valley. I was there, what is today? Today's Monday, so it's Saturday. It'll be the last day of January to 2026. I was in El Pueblo, the nucleus of Monachil, the old town perhaps you might call it. Anyway, I was there Saturday afternoon, and I was at the confluence of the little stream, El Arroyo, the Spanish for stream, with the Monachil River, and there was actually quite a flow in comparison to what there normally is. Normally, as the stream enters the Monachil River, there's practically nothing there, but today there was a clearly marked route and flow coming down at quite a great rate of knots. And that's been repeated on the other rivers in Granada. Sunday we went up to have a look at the Rio Genil, which goes through roughly the centre of town, and also El Rio Darro. El Darro is the river that snakes its way through Granada at the base of the Alhambra, and its name, it's an interesting name. If we break it down into two parts, you have dar, D-A-R, which is to give in Spanish, and oro, which is gold. So literally the river that gives gold. And maybe I can insert a photograph, but in recent times you will find people panning for gold. So it's a gold bearing river, although that said, the actual gold mine that I've told you about many times is on the other side of the Alhambra, but it's the same outcrop of it's a strange stone. It's a conglomerate of whatever, but not fully formed. So it's never been metamorphized, sedimentary, I suppose. But some of the reports I've read tell you that this was the outflow of the rivers that came down off the mountain when they were much higher than they even are today. So how true that all is, there's theories and facts about glaciers on the mountains as well. So who knows? So we're coming on now to the valley edge, and in fact I could have driven up here if I'd wanted to, but what would have been the fun in doing that? What would have been the fun? And I need to get out and walk more. The doctor said I should be going out doing half an hour walk a day. Proper walking, not just the number of steps you can count, going upstairs and downstairs. Proper walk. And this is a proper walk if you ask me. So I've just discovered I've run out of battery on the on my video camera, so I'll just pan back through into the woods, and I'll take you up to the viewpoint, and I'll say my goodbyes from there. I don't think I'm going to take too much more on the phone, so I'm not sure how much battery I've got on that. Again, the paths here are perfectly fine, no quagmire, obviously drains really quite well. Or maybe it didn't rain. Here, that is. What I like about being up here is the abruptness of change of landscape. You get the very high mountain there in the valley with its small holdings, and on this side, well, it's woods, and then there's an abrupt escarpment leading down into the little acequia that's channeling its way through, and then down in the valley you've got various olive trees being grown, and it's a wonderful landscape. So we're just coming up to the viewpoint. I think it's called Los Llanos, the Plains, and I think I'll say my goodbyes here. I might go up to the next viewpoint just without camera and hot leg it up there, get a bit of exercise done. No, this one's called De La Fraile. Quite why it's called that, I don't know. So, a short walk, me blathering on about whatever, a little bit of snow, not as much as I'd hoped to see, but still a nice walk out, and it's got my step counts up, which is all important. See if we can get a bit more snow in over there, the back end of the mountains. I'm going to say my goodbyes now, and I'll see you again, hopefully, on another walk. Cheerio. Well, what did you know? A little bit of snow there just by that shrub. And then if we don't fall down the valley, we look down here, we've got snow that's accumulated on the rest of it. So I didn't think I was going to take any more video, but I probably will do. Well, there's a nice bit of snow accumulating around here. I really wasn't expecting to see any of this, really. I expect there was more of it at midday. Here we've got another example of a young tree growing out of the nothing, try and forge a life for itself. Other ones are just poking their way out of the rocks. It's what a fight for life. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit, really. Well, I say quite a bit. I didn't expect to see any, so that qualifies as being quite a bit. Hola. Hey. This is my path as well. Quite happy to share it with all of you. I think the phrase is hello ladies. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? That's right. Come on, hurry up, hurry up. It's going to be a cold one tomorrow, that's what they tell me. Oh, look at you, all you youngsters. Hello. All right, how are we doing? Are you the last? Oh, come on. It's no good dawdling. Come on, where you go, where you go. That's it. You make sure they all follow up. I wonder if there's another one straggling behind. I don't think so. Well, I told you you'd often find sheep and goats grazing.